This is All India Radio. Yuvavani. Good evening, listeners. In tonight's Yuvavani, we have with us K. Ananta Prahlada, computer science BTech student, presenting a talk on the topic Role of Youth in Nation Building. Let us listen to Ananta Prahlada.
Hello everyone, I am K. Ananta Prahlada, currently a final year graduate student pursuing BTech in Computer Science in Bangalore. And I am here today to talk about the role of youth in nation building. So I would like to start this talk off with a famous quotation from Swami Vivekananda, and I quote, "Never say no, never say I cannot, for you are infinite. All the power is within you and you alone can do anything." This is such a legendary quotation. It kind of inspires you and motivates you to achieve something in your life and kind of go there and start doing and start implementing something rather than just sitting around and wasting time. This is something that applies to every young mind in this country because youths are the future citizen of our country, which represent a highly dynamic, energetic, and highly ambitious population of India. It is said that when the youth unite, they can change the direction of the wind and they have the power beneath their wings to change the government as well as the system, whether it is a political or a social system. So, the capacity of a nation can be best guessed by analyzing the population of youth in a country, as it proves how young a country is. This is no surprise, even Adolf Hitler had to agree with it, as he quotes in one of his famous rallies that he alone who owns the youth gains the future. So, we can clearly understand the importance that the youth has in the role of nation building. Especially when it comes to our country, the majority of India's population is young. Like, if this country, which has a majority of young people today, continues, like, for example, to live without a purpose, then the nation can be taken away instead of being formed. So, let us just in detail discuss the role of youth in nation building. Any nation is made bigger by its advanced and intelligent people. Only those who hoped for developed human qualities can create history and nation. Nation building requires a great deal of effort. Like, such efforts are to be made by strong and young hands. Like, for this, if the youth of a nation are motivated by the spirit of the nation, then the nation building can be easy and lasting. For me, it is like I believe that the youth of a nation shapes and molds its present and paves the way for its future. So it's like the young generation, like we have a huge chunk of responsibility on our shoulders to kind of drive this nation forward. It would be more accurate for me to say that the youth working in tandem with the government decide the fate of a nation and its coming generations as well. So, therefore, it is absolutely necessary and important that the voices of the youth get the right platform. Like, it is necessary that the youth gets to exercise their freedom of speech, their basic rights, their opinions, and their ideas. This is something that I believe the magnanimity of the role of youth in nation building. One thing which is like universally recognized and regarded in general is that they have stamina, energy, and zest for life. But certain other valuable characteristics of youth, which can be great tools for social transformation, are not fully realized or utilized by society. Like, as a result of which they get confused or disturbed. One such important personality trait of the youth is that they strongly aspire to do something new. Like, they want change, not status quo. They are not tied down to the past and instead have openness to accept new things. Hence, it is easier for them to adapt to any kind of change in comparison to the older generation because, they have the wish to learn new things and they are prepared to make all efforts and sacrifice for a social change. I mean, this is something the youth alone has. As we are talking about nation building, let's also talk about the way it has been categorized, like the way we can understand the role of youth. The emerging global consciousness of youth development emphasizes the need to include the perspective of youths in the process of national development, with effective contributions of youths in national development practice. Like, over the years, there has been an increase in awareness about the important role youth can play in sustainable development of the nation. Like, for example, there is like hardly any arena, be it cultural, social, economic development, sports, acting, modeling, writing. You can see each and every aspect, each and every where youth have played significant importance and have kind of brought applause to our country and to their respective cultures. And also I believe that the youth and education also kind of go in hand, because the foundation of an entire nation and its economy consequently depends on the future and how well the youth is educated. Like in terms of educational infrastructure, India has been witnessing a massive growth, but it is not enough. The Constitution of India guarantees compulsory and free education to every child till the age of 14, but it is hardly a reality owing to the practical hurdles like economic inequality and rising population. So the youth of India needs to be multifaceted, with education remaining at the core of everything. Education empowers you with the ability to think, like to tell the right from the wrong and the good from the bad, etc. In a country like India, where traditions and customs is something bigger than humanity itself, education is not at all an option, but it is an absolute necessity. And that is why the youth should be well educated in order to have their own opinion formulated. And talking about the politics as such, the younger generation is no longer turning a blind eye to politics and government. More and more people from the younger generation are expressing interest in politics and how the country is governed. Like according to 2011 census, around probably 230 million of India's entire population is youth. So it is therefore like imperative that their say in who will run the country and who won't will make more than just a small difference. Like it is the if the 230 million and counting join hands and decide to free the country of corruption, then it is not a task that cannot be achieved. It is something that we must be looking forward to in the future. And of course, let us address the elephant in the room, shall we? It is about the social media and youth. Of course, talking about the youth and not talking about social media will just not fit in together, because social media has managed to give the shy youth, or to that group of shy Indian youth, the power to speak their mind. Like voicing one's opinion is no longer a luxury of the rich and elite. Anyone and everyone from any part of the world, and especially from any part of the country, can be heard. You do not need to have access to the best academic grooming to be able to come out and talk about what you feel about any pertinent issue. Like the youth today is asking questions. The youth today is seeking answers. The youth is coming out on the streets and protesting when they have to. The youth is joining hands in solidarity when that is the need of the hour. A platform this powerful needs to be utilized at its fullest, and the honest lies on the youth of the country. Like not only just to make funny memes or not only just to make funny entertaining videos, but it also should be used like a weapon to kind of ask questions and to seek answers and to seek justice for any particular social conflict. So if the youth can make their voices heard and resolve to make a change, there is no reason that India cannot be the greatest nation in the world in every sense of them. This is so true. And also we can talk about the certain factors which hamper the progress and development of the youth, such as unemployment, underemployment, poverty, etc. Some factors that deprive youth from using their full potential for their personal good as well as the society. Like the problem of unemployment and underemployment is pre-relevant in our society because of many reasons. Like we can talk about due to lack of access to affordable and quality education, or due to lack of training, etc., or lack of proper teaching. So the youth have also been weighed down by problem of governance by the elders and conservative adults. There is a lack of support and motivation by the community to the youths to pursue career in creative fields. Women face gender-based discriminations, marginalization, as well as unequal access to education and opportunities even today. So this is something that needs to be addressed about. Like for sustainable development, for an all-round development, it is important to provide equal opportunities to youth. And especially the contribution of youth in the progress and the development of nation is not entirely understood. Like youth of a country, we can make a difference as leaders, activists and role models in various fields. Like the energy and the inspiration of young leaders are key drivers for accelerating progress on sustainable development of a nation. Without the guidance, support, and recognition from the government and other decision makers, youth are often unequipped to use their full potential, which negatively affects their lives and society as such. As encouraged and inspired citizens, young people are the most important resources to bring about positive change in the society. They have the potential to take a lead in the process of progress and development of the nation. And also, we can talk about the way youth are so open and outspoken about life as such. Like, youths are rocking on social media as influencers in fashion, photography, and whatnot. Like, they are bringing positive changes in the society. They make sure that they are seen and heard. Like, they are full of this spark and full of courage to explore everything. So that is something that a nation should be driven by. Like, they know what they are capable of and how to use their potential in the right direction. And that is something that we need to talk about and kind of explore more for them. Perhaps the aged or the older generation might find it more difficult in the first instance. Like, what they have learned at a great cost and pain to themselves will appear valuable to them, but in reality it is merely a burden on their minds, and so will they love to retain it rather than throw away a whole lot of it. So in these shackles of gold they will see gold, artificial though it be, and not shackles. And if they agree to free themselves from these chains, then they will have to exert themselves a lot to break these of them. They may find that they lack the strength and the persistence, but all they can do is to choose whether to do it or not to do it. And also, presently, it is thought that the youth indulge in acts of indiscipline, violence, etc., etc. But the common image of them, of the youth, which is being portrayed, is kind of not exactly the whole picture, because they're also very energetic, self controlled, disciplined, physically well built, constructive, and peaceful men and women of strong character and individual opinions who do not tend to move away from their path of righteousness due to either allurements of money or threats or by those who are in power, and who instead march steadfastly towards their noble goal of service in all humility. So, the responsibility of youth is now to have the awareness that the nation has high hopes in them, and they're not to belittle those hopes. These youngsters have far too long to be used in warfare as brute force or demonstrations, strikes, or any other such acts of disharmony by various vested interests, but now they should not allow themselves to be used for acts of violence, rifts, and hatred. Rather, they must work towards creating harmony and peace for betterment of society. In this way, it is easier for the society to develop and for a nation to progress, especially while talking about India as a nation. Of course, we can create wonders. We already are creating wonders, and of course, I'm pretty sure we can create many wonders and we can be a superpower in no time. So, this is my talk and my opinion on the role of youth in nation building. And I thank Akashwani for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my thoughts and to share my opinions. Thank you, everyone.
That was K. Ananta Prahlada, Computer Science BTech student, presenting a talk on the subject Role of Youth in Nation Building. With that, we conclude tonight's Yuvavani.